You think that once you get down with a gang, that means that you no longer have to be afraid. Now you could just be all aggression, all outward menace, and terror, the terror of the block, right? That's not true. You need to have discipline, because not only will your own gang take you out for being a problem, but that's not going to stop another gang from going after you or yours. So today I got some exclusive content for you. If you like what I'm doing, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to tell everybody you know, share my videos, let them know this is the wave, this is the newest podcast that's hitting, nothing but real shit on this podcast. If I speak, it's because I've been there, I've done that, I've lived it, and it is not guesswork. It's not, me hearing it from somebody else and telling you. It's me experiencing it, me living it firsthand on the prison block, in the prison cell, in the segregation cell, on the streets, back into the prisons, back on the streets, you name it. Whatever it is I'm talking about, it's because I've lived it, right? I'm not like all these other dudes that chase after these little clouds and think that that's how they get respect. I really don't care whether you like my podcast, whether you see me on the streets, you're gonna respect me because I'm a respectful dude and I get respect, bro. And it's just how it goes, right? And what I'm getting at is subscribe to my fucking channel. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro, right? Everybody thinks like, you go into prison, I'm gonna get down with the prison gang, right? Like, are you? Well, not everybody gets down with the prison gang, right? Not everybody goes in there and makes the cut. Would you make the cut? We're going to find out. So today we're going to go over the basically prerequisites of what you're going to need as a man, like inside of you, if you think that you're going to be getting down with the prison gang, whether it's going to make it worse or it's going to make it better for you in your prison sentence. And let me tell you this right now, 99.9% of the time, it's going to make it worse. Right? There's that very, very few small percentage of people who go in there, and most likely they're doing a life sentence already, so they don't give a shit about the consequences of what they will have to do in order to further the business of their gang, their organization. Right? And I think it goes without saying, it's no secret that I was in a prison gang, and that I still speak to a lot of these dudes, and I do so proudly. I have it on my neck. I'm a boyo, and before this, I was a hooligan, right? Most people that go in there, if you're a real dude, you want to do your time alone. You don't want to do your time, taking orders from this guy or that guy to go do this, to crash out your bid, to go to the hole, to get more time, live uncomfortably while everybody else in your crew is out there living good, and you're the only crash dummy in the hole or something. Like, there's so many downfalls to being in a gang in prison. There's upticks to it too, and that's why people do it. But that's one of the main reasons why I think I'm doing this today, is because people go in there and they think I'm going to get down with the prison gang because it brings safety. Not true. I'm going to get down with the prison gang because then I'll be able to get high for free and I'll be able to do drugs for free. Not true. Right? I'm going to get down with the prison gang so that I can get money, so that I can sell drugs on the block. I can do this, that with unanimity. And that's not true either. I'm going to get down with the gang so that I can be involved in the bullshit. I can go get in fights and do this, that, and the other thing, and get a reputation and get my name up and get my weight up. You know what I mean? That might be true right there. That's the best you're going to be able to hope for, especially if you don't already have money, if you don't already have a reputation, if you don't already know what you want to do with your life. Right. These crews... Now, and I know this because I'm in one, right? So we take advantage of strong, solid, courageous young men who come in and do want a reputation. Now, everybody around you could tell that you're reputation hunting. You know, you're putting on, you're not taking no shorts. Like you got your chest puffed out. You're acting all extra and shit. You're young. So almost all the time people come in, they're young, they want to get a reputation, they want to put in work, they want to make a name for themselves, right? So I see that as somebody who's got a crew myself, and I benefit from other serious people who will be able to, you know, take some of the load off of myself when it comes time to putting in work so that I could stay out here in population and make money and not lose out on any of the benefits, while, you know, some of the newer cats are in the hole, and they're doing the time for the things I had already done my time for, right? Or they're putting in work for things that, you know, guys like me could benefit all of us by being out in population, especially if we're taking care of the guys that go to the hole. We take advantage of that. We see it. If you don't know any better, you're gonna think like, oh, look at this dude just likes me because I got spunk, man. Like I got heart, and you know, he respects me. But really, I just see somebody I could use, right? I see somebody I could manipulate and work into a person and mold into a person that could benefit me in so many different ways. And you're not looking for that. You're looking, and even if you are looking for it, you'll turn a little bit of a blind eye in order to get to where you want to go, because everything's a means to an end for everybody. Even for that person who's getting taken advantage of, they see reputation, they see, you know, that somebody with a reputation like myself already is, you know, taking a shine to them. They get clout just off of being that close with me, and that right there, you basically, you know, you're rubbing off on everybody who's around you. If you got a great reputation and that's your right hand man, your right hand man's also going to take on that role. So therefore you could see the real bad outcome, where if someone is not all that they say that they are, right, and they have some dirt on them, they're a rat or a skinner, people find out, that really, really, really puts you in a situation where you're life or death, right? You could die. So if you go in there thinking you're going to be safe because you're in a gang, think again, bro. Especially if you're a no good dude, bro, right? Stay the fuck away from it. Mind your little business. Go to a little fucking PC unit. Do whatever the fucking your little coward heart desires, right? Do not join a gang because you want to be safe. Do not go into prison, join a gang, and think that that is the way to maintain your safety until you go home. That is the worst decision you will ever make, because it puts you in the line of fire. If anything's going to happen, it's going to happen in your circle, right? That puts you closer to the action rather than further away. It doesn't insulate you from it. You're the insulation for the rest of the prison, right? You are the buffer, not the other way around, right? So that's like saying like, oh, I don't want to get sick, and then going to a hospital in order to avoid that. There's so many more sick people there, right? This is no joke, right? You go into prison as a young person, it could result in you never leaving prison as an old person when you're done with your sentence. This is how you navigate prison, especially if you're going to end up in a gang. You're going to need to know this stuff too. It's not just if you have been in a gang, or, you know, you're thinking about being in a gang. People might, you know, it's just what's going to happen. You go to prison, you're going to probably end up in a gang. Is it because everybody ends up in a gang when they go to prison? Is it because that's just what they do? That is not the case. See, I feel like it's more like a conditioning thing, right? You come in off the streets, you already have the influence of drugs, you have the influence of gangs or violence or whatever it was that brought you into the prison from the streets. There is heavy influence to be somebody in prison, because they have taken away most of who you are and your identity of who you are on the streets, or at least maybe the drugs stripped away your identity. Maybe the abuse in your home as a child stripped away your value and your identity. Maybe, you know, the breakdown of verbal abuse from your mother or your father or your older brothers, or just the kids in your neighborhood beating you down and bullying you, stripping away your value and identity, and making you want to prove to the people around you, that you are something. And then when they finally strip away your life and everything that you have, those little bits of things that you thought you had, your freedom, your ability to wear your own clothes and look fly and, go out and pull a really good looking girl or get a good job and get good money. Or, if you're the crack dealer, your ability to re-up and sell a bunch of shit, get money, and you have that identity in that money or those things, and you think that that's what makes you who you are. But when you go to prison, they take that all away from you, and you're forced to make your identity strictly from what you have within you. And that's why they say when you go to prison, you're going to see someone's true colors. You're going to see their identity and who they really are. So when you get in there, you are starting from the ground up, the bottom, right here with your heart, your soul, and your mind. What can you do with those three things? You can cause people first to respect you, then fear you, and then you use that respect and that fear to get the things that you want and need within your prison sentence. When you get into county, that's what it is. It's conditioning for state prison, or it's conditioning for a further life of crime when you get on the streets, depending on how much time you get or what you're doing in the county at the time. If you're doing time on minor county time, or if you're going to do wait trial and then go upstate. If you're waiting trial to go upstate, the holding area is a rumor mill for what it's going to be like when you get upstate. You're going to have the black dudes, the white dudes, the Spanish dudes, the Bloods, the Crips. They don't play that. They don't play this. They're going to be, as soon as you get up there, you're going to need to get a strap. You're going to have to find your crew. You're going to have to, find the people that you're going to fuck with, and you stick with them. And then if they got beef, you take care of their beef. And, you're the new guy. So the new guy's going to be putting in the work as soon as they get up there. Like, you got to make a name for yourself, man. Don't, the first person that you get into a fight with, you're going to have to make an example out of them, man. Like, it's a constant, like, bitter banter about what it's going to be like when you get up there. Who are you going to be? Who are you going to become? I've seen people go from being protective custody inmates in the county, get upstate where nobody really knew them, and reinvent themselves into something that they're really not. And then eventually it comes out, and then boom, they get crushed. And their whole world is now worse than it was before they tried to reinvent themselves, because now they're just a fraud with everything else on top of it. So it's really important for you as a person to reel yourself in as soon as you get in there and be like, who am I really? Who do I really want to walk out these doors as? Me or somebody else? Do I want to walk out these doors pretending like I'm some fucking racist, neo-Nazi gang member that has all these new beliefs? Or do I want to walk out the same version of a different version of the same self that I am, a better version of me? Right? Because you could do both, but it's very, very hard, and you're going to see why, right? So as soon as you get in there, you're going to start getting pulled in all these different bad directions. You got the drug users, the super thorough gangbangers, the guys who've never been upstate that look at everybody who have been upstate like they're gods, and you see that. And then you got, if you're someone who's never been upstate yourself, you're looking at these other dudes like, wow, like, and you start to look at these dudes like there's something. And then those dudes who aren't really much of anything but losers who keep going back upstate to prison. And now, mind you, they could be the greatest dudes in the world. They could be really good people. But, when it comes down to it, in all reality, like, who do we want to model ourselves after? Like, for real, like me, I would rather be like Donald Trump. I want to be the president of the United States. I don't want to be, Joe Convict, who's gone upstate for his third state bid now and is a badass in the county jail until he gets up there and he's around all the people he's been around for years who know he's a lame, right? This is a total fallacy, man. Be you. Look up to nobody, put no man on a pedestal, learn things for yourself, do not take anybody's word for it. And just because you see it and hear it doesn't mean it's real. This is the reality behind the wall. You cannot believe anything you hear, and maybe 75% of what you see, because everybody puts on a mask, everybody puts on a front, And that is to say, like, maybe I'm acting not as dangerous as I am, or maybe I'm acting a lot more humble than I really feel, or maybe I'm acting a lot less humble than I feel, or maybe I'm acting way more dangerous than I really am. That's the thing. It's like there's a spectrum. It's you don't know who is who, right? So you got to learn for yourself. Don't think like, oh, that dude's soft because he's wearing glasses and reading a book and he's got gray hair. That dude might wipe you down and kill you, right? Or don't be like, that dude's tough. He's got tattoos on his bald head, Nazi, swatties on his elbows and shit, right? Like, ooh, dude's a dropout, washout from California, got stabbed and beat up, and now he's out here hiding. Whatever. You don't know, right? So that's number one for, who gets down with gangs, who doesn't. You got to keep your eyes peeled. Who gets down with who is also an indication of who you might not want to get down with. Because if you see all these guys who are wannabes and frauds and kind of losers, like they have no direction or discipline, and there's not any real reason why any gang would want them other than that they're a good crash dummy, that gang is not for you. Right? That's not the one that you're going to want to put your hand into the pot with, right? Because they're just going to use you like they use them to crash them out. And then most likely those same people are going to get jumped on by their own gang and kicked out of their own gang and sent to the washout block where the rest of the washouts are. Right? And then you're also going to want to pay attention to which units you're going to, right? You're going to have different units where different gangs are. So if you go to P1, for instance, you're going to have Bloods and Lion Kings. If you go to G2 on the south side, you're going to have GDs and Crips and gangs. Like, you're going to have different organizations and different units. And it's really important to pay attention to who's around you, because for each gang, for each race, there's a different set of gangs. On the south side, you got, for Spanish dudes, La Familia, Kilby Street, and a few others. But on the north side, you got the Kings and Nietas. I'm pretty sure you have Nietas everywhere, but they kind of like, they intermingle. They're not really a big threat out here as they are in Puerto Rico and other places, maybe the feds, things like that. But that's really important too, is to figure out who you're around and what their reputation is throughout the prison, and not just on that same unit, because people could just be talking them up about it on that unit, think like, oh yeah, they're all right, they're good dudes, but in the rest of the prison, they're known as like that gang is just taking anybody, bunch of stunts, they're weirdos, like, so it's not all about who you're immediately around all the time. So it's important to take your time, slow down, look at the scene, check things out, make sure that the people that you're associating with are not total losers and you just haven't realized it yet, because you could be putting yourself in a lifelong decision of shit, right? Like, you could be setting yourself up for a total like clown show, and that won't be good for your own personal reputation. It's important to have a decent reputation throughout the prison system, especially if you're going to be spending a long time there, because it can avoid you a lot of problems or it can cause you a lot of problems. And that's mainly why it's important to have a great reputation in prison, especially when it comes to fear and respect, things like that. Like, people generate fear for a good reason inside of prison. It avoids future conflicts, and also it can generate money, and it can generate the things that you need and want, which is what a lot of people do get down with gangs for in prison, is to get the things that they need, get the things that they want, and they think that that's the easiest route to do so. But there's other ways to do that, and there's ways to maneuver inside that you don't need to go get down with a gang in order to get these things for yourself or your friends or the people that you're fucking with. You can get respect for a crew of dudes just as easily as you can get respect for a gang of dudes. Another important fact: you think that once you get down with a gang, that means that you no longer have to be afraid. Now you could just be all aggression, all outward menace, and terror, the terror of the block, right? That's not true. You need to have discipline, because not only will your own gang take you out for being a problem, but that's not going to stop another gang from going after you or yours. You could bring issues to your gang if you don't know how to move. So moving inside of a gang, right? Say you get up there, right? Maybe this is what you've been looking for this whole video, right? How you get down, what happens, how do you get approached to get down, right? And then how do you move when you're in it, right? So when you get up there, the first indications that a gang is looking at you to recruit you, they're going to come talk to you. They're going to have maybe one or two dudes come talk to you, see what your name is, where you're from, what you're down for, maybe check your paperwork, just go over things with you, check you out. They're going to feel you out a little bit. They might not say nothing about the gang. They might not say anything about anything. Maybe they'll tell you that they are, and that's who they fuck with, and blah, blah, blah. And just, make friends with you. They'll start making friends with you first. Either that, or if you're one seeking to get down with the gang, you're going to go to them and start making friends once you notice who they are. Maybe you'll express your feelings to them like, yo, I feel like you guys are the right place for me. I want to get down. What do I got to do? And that's respected. People will take you in on something like that. They will be like, okay, yeah, you want to get down. Like, what are you willing to do, type of thing. Like, people are always looking for new recruits, especially if you're a solid dude and you have some type of heart and other people will see you like with some respectability. People don't want scrubs and lames in their gang, right? And there's not a lot of room for that up there anyways. Like, you need to be about your business. Like, you need to stand on your business, because if not, that's your whole world, your whole life, your whole reputation, your everything comes with you standing on what you believe in firm, right? Because you can't give someone an inch, they'll take miles, right? So getting inside of the middle of a gang where people are master manipulators and they're professionals at taking those little inches in order to manipulate their way into any situation and extract everything they can from it for their own gain, you're going to need to have iron thick skin. You're going to need to have intelligence, and you're going to need to know how to maneuver, right? And you're going to have respect. And to have respect, you need to respect yourself first. And that means that you have to have full faith in yourself, full belief in yourself that you're willing and capable to do anything that it is you need to do in order to further your gang's needs and your own, for that matter. It comes you first and then your gang. But when you're in that gang, they're going to all put you in a position where it's them first. And then you're going to have to make a decision, like, what's more important, my time, my freedom, my life, or the needs and wants of the rest of my gang? And if you're about that gang life, then you're going to say your gang, because that's just what they do. And once you get into a situation like that where it's all family first, family this, family that, don't believe the hype, man. It's not like that, man. People are not your family. These are people who you are using to further your own needs, and they are using you to further their own needs. So knowing that, go into it with that frame of mind. You guys are both helping each other out. Put it like this, right? You're going to need what you need in order for them to get what they need out of you, right? Which is another body, someone to be there in a war, or someone to put in work, or and that's not necessarily saying you're a crash dummy, but that's really what it comes down to. We can lie to ourselves all day. It's a need-based relationship. And whether those needs are clearly expressed or not, they're there, right? And they're going to need you. At some point, they're going to need you. They're going to need that. They're going to need you to shed blood, or to shed blood for that gang. And it's going to come a time. So if you ain't ready for that, don't even strap your shoes on. Don't even lace your shoes up, because it ain't even for you, right? So they're going to approach you, or you're going to approach them. Either way, right? Most likely it's going to be them approaching you if you're doing it the right way, doing your bid the right way anyways, right? Because if you're in there and you're looking to get down with a gang, I would already say that you don't have the right motivations. Right? Like, I don't think that people going in looking to get down with a certain gang in the prison have the right motivations. They came to me, and I feel like it should be like that with everybody, because I'm not looking to get down with the prison gang. Let's just get that out of the air, right? Like, I'm not looking to throw myself into a bad situation for people that are not clearly my friends, or clearly do have some type of like legitimate emotional connection to me on that type of level. And I can tell 100%, because if that's not the case, then I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm not a sucker. But there's enough suckers out there that you can go find whoever you want. But not me, bro. Not me. Because if I do extra time, it's going to be for people who are going to do extra time for me. And if I do shed blood, it's going to be for people who will shed blood for me. So if you're going to get down with the prison gang, make sure that that's the truth, right? That's the case. But what happens next, right? You just say, oh yeah, I want to get down. And then all of a sudden you're down. Nah, it's probably going to be months of just, bidding with these people, doing time with them, letting them see how you move during the boring times, during the spikes of violence, during the lulls, those medium times where people want to see how you are and how you act in every situation, every type of climate on the unit. And they don't want to just see you during the ups or the lows. They want to see you during the ups, lows, in betweens, all that, right? They want to see you in action. They want to see what you're going to do when there is a situation where violence is going to be unavoidable, right? And how you're going to handle that. Are you going to go head first into it? Are you going to go feet first into it? Or are you going to go feet first away from it, right? And that's really what they're looking for. And once they find that out, whether you're going to have the balls to stand on your own business, right, and stand for their business too, then after that, moving forward, it's going to be something like this, right? Like, look, we like the way you handle that. We think that you're a right fit for us. You want to come on the team. And if you do, you got to know, like, this is a lifelong decision. This is not something you should take lightly. I want you to think about this, because once you do it, this is your life. This is something that you're going to be giving your life to. You could give your life for it. So make sure it's worth your death. Because the way I see it is you could die tonight for this gang. And it wouldn't be the same as if a person that's been down 25 years dies tonight for the gang. You are now part of the gang as full-fledged as any other full-fledged member, right? So you need to be willing to die tonight, this night, for this gang. If not, no harm, no foul, man, go your own way. We don't want you. It doesn't need to be any hard feelings. Just is what it is. There is no get down or lay down in Massachusetts where if you don't get down, we're going to feel some type of way. But that is a scenario. Even if without that, I've had situations where people have denied, like refused to get down with us after I've offered it and put it on the table. And I thought that this was going to be a good fit. And they were like, nah, I felt a certain type of way. And yes, it eventually did end up with them being beat up, but it was for other things. But really, it all stemmed from my and other people's, not just my own, but my own and other people within my crews kind of feeling some type of way about them not, wanting to join our team. Like, what did they think that, like, what are they thinking about us? Like, what does he think he's better than us type of thing? So be very careful when you're towing that line. Let your intentions be known real clearly. And maybe if you feel that type of way, like, just let dudes know, like, it's nothing against you. It's just that I'm trying to go home to my family, or I'm trying to do my time a different way. And I don't want to bring you guys down. I don't want to make it so that you guys think I'm not trying to put in work or whatever when it comes time. It is what it is. Like, I'm on my own. I came in here alone and I'm leaving alone. And what if people don't like that? Then we could go in the cell. We could handle it like men. We could do whatever. But like I said, ain't nothing against you. And people might take it a little better. But this is the thing. When you're living in a prison facility with hundreds of other gang members, people that have been through the worst of the worst in life and have now found a crew of people or a circle of people who will eat with them, break bread with them, fight for them, die for them, kill for them, right? These people become super close, and nothing's going to get in between them, most likely. I mean, not anything light anyways. So you got to think, like, if you're in there surrounded by these circles of people and you're not one of those people involved in one of these circles, you're a free floater kind of, so to speak, and you do piss off one of those groups, you are going to be the first target. People are going to choose to go after you a lot quicker than they would choose to go after somebody already involved in one of these gangs, because they don't want to bring a huge brawl. It's just a big headache. Whereas if something happens between you, the free floater, and one of these gang members, even if it's just one single one, that gang member is going to have not much of a problem smashing you out or stabbing you, because he knows that you're not with nobody, and it's not going to bring any drama towards his gang. And his gang's not going to be mad at him for bringing drama from another gang for doing this. And most likely there's going to be no kickback when he goes to his superior talking about, yeah, this dude needs to go. Like, this is what happened. I want to stab him. They're not going to be like, well, we can't do that because it's politics. Like, talk these. But if it's a racial thing where the dude's not, it's a white dude, it most likely it won't matter if he's in a gang or not. Other races will not go and stab or jump some random white dude because he's not in a gang or he's not involved with someone, because most white dudes are not involved in gangs. We are our own gang. When it comes to that, white dudes stick together in a gang-like fashion. When I first got upstate back in the day, in P1 and it was N2, P2, G2, the white dudes that were up there, to the last man, each and every single white dude in that yard can be counted on to jump into a brawl at the drop of a hat for any white dude in that yard. It didn't matter who they were or what, it didn't matter. You were there because every white dude in that yard was good. Their paperwork was good. They were good. They've been around for a long time. There was no telling and skinners. It wasn't like that. Like it is now. It wasn't like that before. You could count on every white dude in that yard being solid. And when we were all out there, we were thick. We had our own basketball court, our own pull-up bar, our own tables, our own basically area of the track. We worked out in droves together. We played all white basketball full court games, all white handball. We did everything together. We had our own section in the gym, our own hoop in the gym, our own poker tables in the gym, our own poker tables and phones, everything on the block. In P2, when I first got up there, every single other cell was a white dude that was also a boyo. So every single other cell was a white boyo or somebody who was associated very closely with us. And boyo just means close friend. We are just all very close friends. And matter of fact, back then we used to just call each other close friends. It wasn't like boyo. Not many people would even say the name aloud unless they were around only other boyos. It was very close as kept. We kept it close to the vest. And this was before I was even a boyo. I was taught about the boyos. I was taught about the way we moved and the history behind us and why it's so important that we stick together, right? And why it's so important for white dudes in general to put our race first and then our gang second. Because you are a white dude before you are a boyo. You are a white dude before you are a hooligan. You are a white dude before you are anything, and then you are that. Right. So we have, and that's the difference, I think, between, us and other races with other gangs and other races is that other gangs and other races, like black dudes, for instance, they even know that they know themselves that they are divided because of the sets that they have. Even the Bloods are not united as one big blood gang. They are divided because they have so many different little blood sets that a lot of them all are beefing with each other all the time. And even when we as white dudes will get into a beef with the Bloods, it's not the Bloods, it's the 9 Treys. We get into a beef with the 9 Trey Bloods. So we see other Bloods, it's you're not a 9 Trey, you're this, and they don't even have an issue. It's, you go after just them. So it's very, very separated. It's same thing with the Spanish dudes. The Kings even have their own sets of Latin Kings and things like that. So it's very separated. And it's not often the only other racial group in the prison system in Massachusetts that sticks together as well as we do is the Asians, Cambodians. They stick together just as thoroughly, if not more thoroughly so, than white dudes. And now that drugs have come into the scene, gang life inside the prison, race life inside the prison, everything is different. So we are broken apart now, the same, I would say, as any other race because of drugs. Now we are Fall River dudes, boyos, Worcester guys, we're broken up by our cities, we're broken up by our affiliations, just like any other race. And I wonder sometimes why that is. What is it about drugs? What is it about our basic human nature that allows us to be separated off of a substance? Like, what pulls us apart so badly that we can no longer trust our own friends once we start getting high? It's instinctive though. And a lot of these things cause it as symptoms. Like Suboxone, one of the symptoms is it destroys interpersonal relationships. That's literally a symptom if you look it up. A symptom of long-term Suboxone use is it destroys your interpersonal relationships. So you do not have long-term relationships on drugs. So being in prison for long stretches of time on the same unit, you're going to get a lot of backbiting, a lot of people talking shit about the next man. And it's not the same. Before, you used to talk shit about somebody, motherfuckers would go walk you down to the person you're talking about and say it to him, right? And they would have have no choice. You don't talk shit about somebody behind their back. You just don't do it, because you will have to say it to that person. You will have to. And then what? If you don't want to say it to their face, do not say it behind their back, because we used to hold each other up as men. Didn't matter what gang you were in. We used to hold each other up as men so fucking well, man. It was such an honorable place. And I fucking felt respect just walking out of there before. Now it's like, I don't know what I feel walking out of there. I feel grateful, thankful that I'm alive. Thankful that I have some of my sanity left. Thankful that I did not, kill myself or get killed or, become one of the junkies or become one of the, no goods, basically. Like, I've seen so many people that had good names back then when our prison system was solid as a rock. As soon as drugs hit, well, not as soon, but after years of the drugs being around, their reputation was destroyed on them, their own selves. They did it to them, their own selves, just through bills, running up bills and acting like a fool, letting the drugs become the better part of you. And there is no better part of you at that point. There's just all bad, and so you have to dig deep, make sure that you're not losing yourself. And the one thing I used to tell myself when I was in prison, especially because I was wrapped up in the politics of gang life, I was wrapped up in the politics of race life, I was wrapped up in the politics of us against the cops, and it was really, really tiring. You get very beat down after a long time, and the only way to stay sane is to exercise, try to eat right, read well, take care of your mind and take care of your body, take care of the close relationships that you have around you, and that little bit of healthiness that you maintain for yourself, that goes a long way. But what really kept me on the straight and narrow the entire time was I had a mantra. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget you got people that love you. This is not your home. This is not your life. This is temporary. That was it. And I would say it to myself every day, all day. And that's it, man. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget where you came from. Don't. You got to remember who you are. Remember, this is not your life. This is not forever for you. This is only temporary. And you're going to leave here. It's just, how are you going to leave here? You're going to walk out the door with the same things you came in. Your honor, your pride, and your self-respect. And that's it. You could walk out with all the respect in honor of everybody in that prison. But once you get out here, all that respect and honor stays right there. No one remembers other than the people that are there with you. And then they get out and they tell the people out here in the streets. And that's why I get a lot of respect out here in the streets, is that people know and remember me from within the walls. And I have a good name. But like out here, to be honest, I want to create a new name, a new honor, something that we could really be proud of as ex-convicts. Something we could come together and be like, look it, bro, that's my brother. Look at him and look what he did. This dude was a true motherfucker, and he got out, he put his money where his mouth was, and he made a name for himself, made a huge podcast for himself, made a huge reputation doing the right thing out here for himself, helped his community, helped everybody around him, made a great family. It is what it is. That's what I want. That's the reputation and the respect I want now, today, for myself. But being in there, it's like, I've already said a lot of the things that have to do with this gang stuff. I'm gonna leave it at that for today. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I appreciate everybody for showing up for this discussion. I got a lot more stuff to come this year. 2025 is gonna be a smash hit year. We're not going anywhere. You guys are staying right here. You're rocking with me, bro. And I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna give you the best year of podcasting you have ever experienced. This is gonna be raw, straight from the horse's mouth, bro. I hope everybody has a great week. I love you guys. W number out.